how to break the cycle of a pornography addiction if you are someone who works remotely, whether you're in tech, whether you're in programming, whether you're in HR, anything where you're working remotely and you're spending a lot of hours behind the computer at your workstation, working your job throughout the day. I feel a lot of us have come into this position post-pandemic era where the whole mindset of being in an addiction, or perhaps your pornography use, has gone deeper into a mental rabbit hole since then. And this is the video that I wanted to make, having been able to finally stop pornography addiction and stay stopped after getting the right help. And so the intention of this video is to sort of shift your mindset more towards that position of strength and power and confidence in knowing that there is a way out, in knowing that you can stop and stay stopped. You do not have to tolerate an addiction such as this in your life. The mental conflict is stoppable, guys. Alright, so if you haven't been here before, I'm Joe. I was in a pornography addiction for about 17 years of my life. I was trying to quit for about 9 of those years. I tried all these methods such as, cold showers, exercise routines, replacement behaviors, perhaps even going down the sort of therapeutic route, a lot of extensive reading, you name it. It's stuff we all typically try when we're on the NoFap arc. So yeah, I came in from the NoFap area into this dilemma. After trying all that stuff, I also went into 2 other paid programs in order to stop the behavior and stay stopped, and they didn't work either. And it wasn't until 2025 when I met Tom Molyneux and Mary Paulus, who taught me the Beyond Compulsion method. This method is an approach to stopping addiction which focuses directly on rewiring addictive neural pathways. Now I'm an affiliate for them since it worked for me, and I've never looked back. And so a lot of the principles I'm going to bring up in this video are sort of around the mindset and mental stances that you want to adopt in order to get into the right direction towards stopping. We're going to cover those, and we're going to try and get you guys in a position of bigger strength and confidence, taking you out of the cycle and moving you towards the straight line. So the first thing I want to cover is actually discussing what is the cause of the addiction cycle. Now, yeah, of course, back when we were 12 or 13, perhaps we actually, engaged in porn for the first time. We were watching something, and since then curiosity had built up, and then we started our career of full-time addiction in porn and watched it throughout our teens into adulthood, and we got into this cycle which became vicious, and we found ourselves in this nasty cycle that we find ourselves in. Cycle of mental conflict, of shame, guilt, the rest of it. Helplessness, hopelessness, not being able to break free of the vice. And so when I was trying to find the answer of, okay, where do I need to exactly attack? What point of my life do I need to work on in order to actually stop this? Because willpower didn't work, working on my fitness routine didn't work, changing my diet didn't work, changing my sleep schedule didn't work, trying to put more discipline in my life didn't work either. No matter all these measures and improvements I made to my life, although I benefited from them, it didn't stop the wanting of porn to come along. It didn't stop the urges when they came up in those critical moments of compulsive desire to come up. And so the key words here are compulsive desire. Compulsive desire meaning simply the urge when it comes up, when we're suddenly thinking about scenes and images and videos that we want to watch in that moment of wanting to watch porn, essentially. These are the critical moments where we want to be focusing on. These are the actual moments where we actually want to be getting that real sense of strength and power, knowing that we can overcome the urge in that moment without having to act upon it, coming from a place where we can process urges correctly. Now, yeah, we probably tried all that before. We perhaps thought, right, we've probably been taught before when the urge comes up, we've got to sit there and meditate, we've got to sit there and relax and think about something else, or we've got to get up and do 60 push-ups in order to get through the urge. However, none of this actually addresses the urge directly. None of this actually addresses all the thoughts and feelings that come along with the urge when you're in it, because when it all happens in the moment, it all happens very fast. The thought leads on to the next one. That feeling that comes with the urge grows a bit stronger, and altogether, it all becomes quite compelling. That's what it is, a compulsive behavior, compulsive desire. And it's because of this fact, what's happening what's happening as a matter of fact in that moment. It's actually less about the reason that you perceive the cause to be, such as, oh, I'm feeling really stressed right now, that's why I'm wanting to engage, or I just didn't sleep well last night, that's why I'm looking to engage. I'm really hungry or really thirsty right now, that's why I want to engage. It's less about any of those reasons. It's less about any of the reasons that the addicted part of the mind, as we call it, is convincing you the reason is. The key thing to focus on here is that feeling of compulsive desire, dealing with it when it comes up in the moment in the correct way. Now, it's all well and good me saying this, I understand. So what I would recommend you to do at this point, either right now or after the end of the video, is go to Beyond Compulsion Academy. There'll be a link at the top. I want you to go to that channel, watch through Tom's videos, watch the podcast over there done by Tom and Mary. Take some time out, give yourself a video to watch a day. This will slowly and surely rewire your perspective on what the cause is, and you'll find that it's very liberating to actually know that it's just this section that needs to be dealt with, and none of all this stuff, none of all this fluff that we're typically told might be the cause or is the cause of why we're relapsing, of why we're engaging constantly, and we feel like we can't control it, we can't stop. Again, the channel above, give yourself 10 to 20 minutes a day and watch a video on Tom and Mary's channel, and trust me, you'll benefit from it day after day. You'll rewire the attitude required to actually understand what's happening, so you're out of that confusion, and it breaks that paradigm of not knowing what's going on about what needs to be focused on in order for us to overcome this and get to the other side of where we want to be. So number 2 is the paradigm of not being in control. So this paradigm actually comes from the addiction itself. It's super common and it makes a lot of sense. We've been trying over and over and over again in order to try and stop the addiction, in order to try and stop relapsing. And like I said in the section before, we've tried all this stuff and none of it has worked. And so we feel really helpless and hopeless at this point, where we try our best to stop yet again. We're telling ourselves that one last time, and it ends up being just another one, and it ends up just being another try in the book. And so the good thing that I want to tell you here is that this paradigm, it doesn't come from you, your mind as a person. It comes from engaging in the addiction. The feeling of helplessness and hopelessness comes from the addiction itself. It comes from the addicted neural pathways that have been built over years and years and years of engaging in porn. The number one goal of the addicted part of the mind is to get you back into your addiction, is to get you to engage in your addiction as much as it can, as a natural organism would. If there is an intense natural reward, an intense natural high to be earned from an action, it will certainly go for that action. That is simply what it's designed to do. Unfortunately, with this action, there's a lot of negative consequences attached to it. Shame, guilt, helplessness, hopelessness, feelings of just low energy, low morale, and we've all been there. So again, this feeling of helplessness and hopelessness isn't from you, it's from the addicted neural pathways, and it's designed that way to keep you in the addiction and get you engaging in it over and over and over again, using any excuse it can find, using any mental cue that it can take hold of to get you and prompt you to engage again. This was something that when I attended BCA in 2025 with Tom and Mary, this was a critical thought pattern that we dealt with and we got clear on, and then in those moments, what to do in those moments when I'm having that thought of helplessness and hopelessness, and it changes the game completely. You're not thinking about all these other things that we used to think about. Oh, have I done my exercise today? Have I had my sleep? Is my sleeping schedule correct today? Or maybe I'm going to relapse because of this. I'm going to relapse because of that. No, it's being in the right mental stance when the urge comes up. And if this thought comes up about feeling helpless, feeling hopeless, feeling, oh, I'm never going to feel the end of this urge is going to come back again and again and again. I'll never be free of this addiction. All part of the addiction, all part of the addicted part of the mind, does not come from you. Separate yourself from the addiction. So number 3 is being in a proactive stance. A lot of us, when we're in the addiction, we're in this mental position where we're very afraid of the urge that comes up. We're very sort of timid of when an urge comes up because we don't know how to handle ourselves. And like I said before, it happens really fast. And it's sort of like this paradigm where we're just thinking on the defensive. We're ready to run away from the urge. We're ready to run far away from triggers. Trigger avoidance comes in to this a little bit, which I've learned is not the way to go, as controversial as that might sound. But if we're constantly in the defensive stance, then we concede to the mental position that stuff is just happening to us. It's not that we can do anything about it and take control. And as Mary Paula says in BCA, the best form of defense is going on the offensive. As long as you're equipped with the right tools, with the right methodology that can deal with that compulsive desire when it comes up in the moment, then being in the attacking stance, you can go out and actively work on rewiring addictive neural pathways when you're feeling the urge and when you're not feeling the urge. But it's always important to be in that proactive stance, not always sit and wait for the urge to come to you, like you're always on the defense, like you're in this helpless position, like you're in this position where you can't take control of the situation, take control of your life. And so, like I said, once you have the right tools and the right methodology in order to execute in that moment or in any other moment of your life pertaining towards rewiring those addictive neural pathways to pornography, then you can actively attack it at any time. And that's the position of strength where we want to be. And that is the position that we want to be in. Definitely not waiting around for an urge to come up and make us feel like we're cornered. You know how it feels. So number 4, stress is another thing that I want to cover, because stress can be this thing which we're using as an excuse, as something that is causing the addiction, especially when we're a remote worker. Let's say that it's crunch time, or we've got a lot of deadlines coming up, or a lot of tickets get stacked on top of us, and we're feeling stressed. And the first thing that comes to mind is, well, how have I dealt with this before? How have I sort of transmuted this feeling before? Is by watching porn. It's going on the PC and binging for a few hours, or typically a lot more. And again, with this point, I want to bring us back to the fact that, again, we do not need a reason to engage, because we can have any reason to engage. The reason doesn't matter. It's actually what you do in those moments of compulsive desire, when they come up in the moment, what you do in those moments in order for you to facilitate making the right choice from a position of clarity and strength and power, and choosing the right option, and choosing an option to engage or not to engage. The better choice, the more rational choice, is not to engage. But again, when we're in those feelings of, oh, I'm stressed, oh, I'm tired, all this stuff, our mental stance can feel very convoluted in that moment. So we're not thinking from a position of clarity, because we haven't got a tool, because we didn't deploy a tool in that moment in order to use to get us into that clear headspace, thinking through the desire in a rational way and then making a choice. Usually it's, I'm stressed, I want to watch porn, and we're thinking about the scenes, we're thinking about the images, we're thinking about the clips, and before you know it, we're there engaging, and then we're there watching porn for hours and hours. So again, it's not about the reason, it's about how to facilitate the right choice in those critical moments of compulsive desire, and preferably getting us into a position of strength and confidence and rational thinking by using a tool to do so. And so number 5, real quick, chances are that you've been engaging for years and years, since you were 12 or 13, or maybe even younger, since you were 8 or 9. And this problem has most likely been with you since you were very young. And I just want to be very clear here to tell you that there's nothing wrong with you for being in this situation. A lot of us actually feel shame for our wanting for porn. We feel shame that we actually want to engage in it. And that carries a lot of bad feelings, because we're thinking, I want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it. And there's a lot of mental conflict going on. The reality is that since we're young, addictive neural pathways have been built up to an extent where we're very compelled to watch it. And all the way up until now, we've built up this psychological dependency, this mind mood altering experience to porn, this dependency for a mind mood altering experience towards pornography. And we seem to forget that when we got started, we were super young, we didn't understand what was going on, and we did not expect this to be the consequences. So it's super important for you guys to just leave this video knowing that don't be so hard on yourself. There's nothing wrong with you for it. Yes, you're not okay with it, and yes, it's a problem that needs to be solved. but you're not wrong for it. You're not this broken person for it. You're someone that has gone through a situation. You didn't know the consequences because you were young. It's a new thing in this day and age, and it's very normal in this day and age as well. But again, there's nothing wrong with you for being in this position, and if you haven't been able to stop yet, it's usually because you just haven't found the right help. And so with that, what I want to do is tell you, I just want to say, look, I've been through the whole episode. I've been through this program called BCA. I went through it with last year. I got professional help from Tom Molyneux, Paulus. I'm now an affiliate for them. What I like to do when I get on calls with people who are looking for help is I like them to come with a lot of tough questions to ask me. This is because I know how important it is for you guys to solve this problem and get past this chapter in your life and finally stop pornography and stay stopped for good. From a place where you're choosing, from a place where you're actually using strength and power to do so, having the choice to leave pornography or not leave it. The choice is yours, but installing the strength, the framework, the method, having it there so you can finally stop and stay stopped. So in the bio, I do have a 15-minute WhatsApp call that you can book with me. This is to ask questions. This is to actually get into the mindset where you're bringing these hard questions and getting clear on what exactly has worked for you, hasn't worked for you. If anything at this point has worked for you at all, quite frankly, I certainly was in that position. But yeah, if you want to get on a call with me, 15 minutes on WhatsApp, bring these tough questions to ask me, and hopefully we can get you onto the other side, and also as well see if BCA is a good fit for you.